I wish I had as much control over that. I mean, I think it depends, at least for me, it's very much character to character. There are some characters that you can very easily snap in and out of, and then there are other ones that, I mean, in the case of Beth and the Queen's Gambit, I had worked back to back on two projects with one day off in between. So by the time I got to actually filming the show, I was exhausted and there was no energy to create a barrier. And that was potentially the toughest thing about the show because it was a wonderful experience as an actor to be able to not have to reach for any emotion. But then you also have to go through the psychological, like, I don't know, warfare of figuring out why do I feel so awful this morning? Like, what is happening? And then you go, oh, it's not my feelings. I just have to sit in them all day. And I have to be aware enough to go, you are not depressed. The character is depressed. And at some point that will leave you. But I do think baths, like an actual bath, like being able to have like the visual representation of washing yourself clean of something,
Yes. Mm.
a bath every single night is the thing.
Yeah.
May I pose a question to the group? Is that okay? Because I'm so curious about this. It's so wonderful hearing the two of you just now talk about that because I've always felt really crazy for, the depressions that you go into after you leave a character and not being able to necessarily connect with yourself. And I'm really curious to hear what your relationship is with something being seen. Because when I first started working, I convinced myself that filmmaking was a very private practice with a private group of people and that no one was ever going to see it. And then I thought I'd grow out of that, and I haven't. For
Mhm.
every project, I have to sit myself down probably about 2 months after it's finished and go, people are going to see this and people are going to have access to it whenever they want. And something that was so meaningful to you, something that, you carried with a very select group of people and that you did sweat, cry, bleed, everything for. How do you guys work with that when it does come out? Because to me, it feels, at least for Queen's Gambit, I had to go through a grieving period. It was like grief, genuinely, to think, oh goodness, this thing that I loved so much is now away. It's not mine anymore. So yeah, I'm just curious. I've always been very lucky in the sense that I've always followed character. And I think only recently did I start following directors as well. But it was always about, do I feel like I'm the right person to tell the story? Like, do I think I can tell the story correctly? And I mean, if you look at something like Queen's Gambit, that was not supposed to be the white hot show. It's the show about a girl that plays chess for 7 hours. Like, it's not really, it wasn't supposed to be the thing, but I just felt so compelled to tell that story. So I think I just keep following, it sounds cheesy, but my heart, it's like, okay, wait, I take that back. Something that I'm also learning is you give yourself to this person for 3 to 6 months. So I never used to think about this before, but now I do start thinking, am I ready to give up my life for this person? Am I ready to give myself entirely to this situation? Do I need to tell this story so badly that I'm going to do that? And I think that's how I make the decisions. I try not to think about what other people will think about it because it's your life at the end of the day. And as we all know, you are being that other person every hour of that day. And when you go home, it's difficult to let go of them. So you have to really love them.
I think you're also
I mean, I think I've been saved from a lot of things in my life from pure innocence and naivety, genuinely, because I did, my first movie was called The Witch. I got a script immediately afterwards that was about, you guessed it, a witch. And I was like, why do they want to see me do this again? Like, I don't comprehend this. And so I just immediately was like, can I just not do any more witch movies, please? Because my agent was like, okay, sure, whatever you say. But I do think there's an element of I wonder how many people agree with me here, but I certainly want to please and understanding that in order to please, I don't have to give up myself. And actually, it's more important to please myself than it is to please anybody else in that moment when it comes to, okay, I'm giving my heart, my body, my soul, everything to this character. I'm not going to do something because somebody wants me to do it. It's not, that doesn't make any sense. And also, it makes me miserable. And then I can't do my best work. So, if, I mean, I was terrified. I never thought I'd do comedy. I wasn't trained for comedy. And doing Emma, which was, our imprint of it was bringing up baby, that was so terrifying. And yet I was like, my only real obligation is to have fun and learn and do the best that I can in this moment in time. And if when it comes out, people are like, oh, we prefer her when she's crying or kidnapped or whatever it is, then it's not really, it's not my job. My job is to do the best that I can with the opportunities that are given to me. And if I feel that the opportunities that are being given to me aren't the right ones, then I have to stick my neck out and go, hey, I think I could maybe do this if you'll give me the opportunity. But also, the importance of these conversations is the honesty aspect, because I think it's very simple, or not simple, sorry, it's very easy for us to get locked into our own heads of this is an individual experience, there's something wrong with me, or everybody else is doing really great and nobody else grieves their characters, or whatever your version of that is in whatever industry that you're in. Having honest conversations with people that are willing to be vulnerable in that way just makes you feel so much less alone, and it makes everything feel better. So I definitely
Next time you feel that way, and I'll remind you. This is, you know, you have my number. You have my number, girl.